First of all, we see what is random experiment. Now to explain random experiment, we first need to know what is an experiment. An experiment is generally thought of as one or more acts which results outcomes. Now, an experiment is called random experiment if all possible outcomes are known in advance, but it is impossible to predict which outcome will occur at a particular performance. As for example, the experiment of tossing a single coin, random experiment. Why is that? Because the possible outcomes are known in advance. What are the possible outcomes? Head and tail. But for a particular performance, it is impossible to predict which outcome. So that's why this example or this experiment is called random experiment. Similarly, other example of random experiment are throwing a die, drawing a card from a full pack of 52 cards at random, etc. Sample space. Consider an random experiment. Now, a sample space is a collection or a set of possible outcomes of a random experiment. What that means? In the random experiment, the possible outcomes are known in advance, and that collection of possible outcomes is called sample space. So sample space is the set of all possible outcomes. The sample space of a random experiment is written within the set notation, curly bracket. As for example, if the experiment consists of a flipping coin, two outcomes are possible, such as head and tail. So the sample space for this experiment is given as head and tail. If the experiment consists of flipping two coins, then the sample space consists of the following four outcomes, that is head in both coins. If the first coin is head and the second is tail, if the first coin is tail and the second is head, if both coins are tail. If the experiment consists of tossing a single die, then the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it is impossible to predict which number will come for a particular performance. So the sample spaces are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if the experiment consists of tossing two dice, then what are the possible outcomes? See, in the first die, it may come 1, and also in the second die. In the first die, 1, in the second die, 2, first die 1, second die 3, like that. So there are 36 possible outcomes, and we can't predict the outcomes for any particular performance. So the sample space is this set of outcomes. Now there are some exercises. In the first exercise consists of the determination of the sex of a newborn child. Can you find the sample space? In the second exercise consists of the order of finish in a race among the 7 horses having post position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. What does it mean? See, before starting the race, the horses are labeled by these numbers. Now, if the outcome is 7, 6, 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, what does it mean? It means the horse labeled by 7 stand first position in the race. The horse labeled by 6 stands second position in the race, like that. So you have to find the possible outcomes for this race. So find the sample space.